The twin suns hung heavy over the desert sky, painting the land with golden fire. Sand stretched as far as the eye could see, rolling in endless dunes, rising and falling like waves frozen in time. The heat shimmered on the horizon, bending the air into strange shapes, yet Myra kept her eyes fixed forward. She had traveled across 2 planets and through 3 spaceports for this moment. What lay ahead was no ordinary discovery. Her small crew trudged behind her, their boots sinking deep into the fine red sand. The grains clung to their clothes, stung their faces, and found their way into every pocket. Yet no one complained. They had heard the same stories as Myra, stories whispered in the trade markets of the outer colonies. Somewhere in this endless desert stood a structure that had outlasted time itself, a pyramid unlike any other. It was said to glow when the suns touched its sides and to call out to those who dared to seek it. At last, after hours of silence broken only by the whistling of the dry wind, the desert rose to reveal something unnatural. At the top of a dune, Myra stopped. She shielded her eyes against the glare and felt her breath catch in her throat. There it was. The blood-red pyramid. It towered above the desert, its sides sharp and flawless, its surface gleaming like polished stone though it had faced centuries of storms. Unlike the yellow sand and pale rocks around it, the pyramid shone with a deep crimson color. It looked almost alive, as if it were carved from the beating heart of the planet itself. The crew gathered beside Myra. Yorin, the youngest of them, whispered in awe. "It looks new. How can it be new when it's supposed to be older than every city here?" Myra's answer was steady, though her own heart raced. Because it was made to last. The ones who built this place wanted it to be seen forever. Behind them, the alien guides stirred uneasily. They were tall, with long limbs and skin the color of bronze. Their large eyes reflected the suns like pools of dark glass. They had been silent most of the journey, but now one of them stepped forward. His name was Kairu, and though his voice was calm, it carried a warning. "You should not go closer," Kairu said. "This place is cursed. Our ancestors say no one who enters returns." The humans exchanged quick glances. They had heard such warnings before. To many aliens, the pyramid was a forbidden place, a shadow in their stories. Myra did not dismiss the fear in Kairu's tone, but her curiosity was stronger. "We came for this," she said. "We cannot turn back now." The guides retreated a few steps, muttering in their own tongue. They would go no nearer. The humans pressed on, moving down the dune toward the base of the massive structure. As they walked closer, the pyramid seemed to grow taller, swallowing the sky. Its surface glowed faintly, not with light but with a strange reflection, as though the stone remembered every sunrise it had ever faced. Myra ran her hand along the lower blocks. They were cold, almost too smooth, as if polished by something more than tools. The markings carved into the stone were unlike anything she had seen before. They were not alien symbols, not the writing of any known species. They were pictures, figures, and shapes that looked strangely familiar. Her crewmate Darren bent down to study one of the carvings. His brow furrowed. "These shapes. They look like people. Human people." Myra froze. She traced the lines with her fingers. The carving showed a tall figure with 2 arms, 2 legs, and a face that could only be human. Around it were stars and ships that seemed to fly across the sky. It was impossible. Humanity had only reached the stars in the last few centuries. How could there be ancient carvings of their kind here, on a world light years from Earth? Questions swirled in Myra's mind, but there was no time to answer them. The suns dipped lower, casting long shadows across the sand. The pyramid turned darker, its red surface glowing like fire in the fading light. Myra stepped back to take it all in. "We need to find the entrance," she said firmly. "If there are carvings of humans here, then this place holds answers we cannot ignore." They split into pairs and began circling the base. Hours passed as they searched. The pyramid gave nothing away. No door, no crack, no sign of entry. Only silence and the sound of wind brushing across stone. Yoren grew restless. What if the entrance is gone? What if it was buried under the sand long ago? Myra shook her head. Everything built has a way inside. We just need to keep looking. Her patience was rewarded when her foot struck something unusual. She knelt and brushed away the sand. Beneath it was a small groove, a thin line cut into the stone. She called the others, and together they cleared the surface. A rectangular frame appeared, set deep into the side of the pyramid. It looked like a door, but it was sealed shut. Excitement filled the group. They pressed against it, searched for triggers, but nothing worked. The door did not move. Myra placed her palm against the cold surface and whispered softly, not to her crew, but to the stone itself. Why are we here? Why do you wait for us? The stone gave no answer. The sun sank below the dunes, leaving only the cold light of distant stars. The guides, watching from afar, called out. Their voices carried fear. Leave it. Leave it before it claims you. Myra ignored them. She could not pull herself away. She pressed harder against the stone, her hand sliding against its sharp edge. Pain flashed across her skin. She pulled back, and a single drop of blood fell onto the door. The crew gasped. The pyramid reacted. The surface rippled like water. The groove lit up with a crimson glow. The door began to sink inward with a low hum that shook the sand beneath their feet. Myra's heart pounded. She knew this was only the beginning. Whatever waited inside had chosen to awaken for them, for humans alone. The blood-red pyramid had opened its first SECR. The ground shook as the ancient door of the blood-red pyramid sank slowly into the earth. The glowing lines faded, leaving only a dark opening that yawned like the mouth of some great beast. The humans stared in silence, their hearts beating fast, while the alien guides cried out in fear from the dunes. It should not open, Cairo shouted, his voice carrying across the sand. It was sealed for a reason. Do not go inside. But Myra's eyes were fixed on the doorway. For years she had searched for something like this, a relic that connected humanity to the past. She could not turn back now. She took a deep breath and spoke calmly to her crew. We came for answers. This is our chance. If any of you wish to wait outside, I will not force you. No one moved away. Darren tightened the straps of his pack. Yoren adjusted the lamp on his wrist. Even though their faces were pale, none of them wanted to leave Myra to face the unknown alone. Myra nodded with pride and stepped into the darkness. Inside, the air was heavy and cool, as though the pyramid had been sealed only yesterday. Their light swept across smooth walls that gleamed faintly in the beam. Every stone block fit perfectly against the next, without cracks or dust. Strange symbols lined the walls, shining as though carved by fire itself. It feels alive, Yoren whispered. His voice echoed softly through the hall. Darren frowned and touched the wall. No dust. No decay. How can this place stay untouched for so long? Myra walked slowly, her eyes sharp. Because it was waiting for us. The passage led them deeper, sloping downward in a long stretch that seemed to pull them into the heart of the structure. Their lamps revealed new carvings along the walls. Some showed star systems, others ships that looked far beyond the design of modern vessels. Myra stopped at one panel and felt her chest tighten. The carvings showed humans. Not just simple shapes this time, but clear faces, figures dressed in armor, standing tall beside great ships. Around them were smaller figures with long limbs and bronze skin, very much like the alien guides outside. Darren stared at it, his mouth open. This is impossible. That is us. That is humanity. And those, Myra said, pointing at the smaller figures, are them. The desert people. These carvings tell a story, and it is not the story we were taught. For a moment, the group stood frozen, trying to understand. Then the passage widened into a chamber. The room was vast, with a ceiling so high that their lights could not touch it. In the center stood a tall structure like a column of black stone, glowing faintly red at its base. Myra approached it carefully. The glow pulsed, almost like a heartbeat. She reached out but stopped just short of touching it. The air around the column vibrated, humming low in her ears. "What is this?" Yoren asked. "A lock," Myra said. "And we may have already opened the first part of it when the door reacted to my blood." The others exchanged uneasy looks. They had heard the stories of devices that required sacrifice, machines that demanded more than effort to reveal their secrets. Before they could debate, the humming grew louder. The column lit up brighter, and then a deep voice filled the chamber. It was not the voice of a person but a sound that came from the walls themselves, vibrating through the stones. "Welcome, children of Earth." The humans froze. Their eyes darted around, searching for the source. Myra's heart thundered, but she held her ground. "We are here," she said, her voice strong. "We seek the truth of this place." The voice answered, calm yet powerful. "You carry the blood of the makers. Only humans may walk within. Others must remain outside." The crew realized the pyramid had not opened for chance. It had chosen them. Myra felt both awe and fear. If this place was built for humans, then its builders must have come here long before history recorded their journeys to the stars. The column dimmed again, leaving silence. Darren exhaled slowly. "It spoke to us. It knows us. That means this place was made by our kind." "But how?" Myra turned to her team. "This is proof. Proof that humanity once walked the galaxy before. The pyramid is not just a tomb or a temple. It is a message. And we are the ones meant to hear it." The crew nodded, though unease hung heavy in the air. The discovery was greater than anything they had ever imagined, yet it also carried danger. If the guides outside feared the pyramid, perhaps they had reason. They pressed deeper into the structure, passing through more chambers. Each room showed more carvings, more evidence of a human empire that had once stretched across the stars. In one hall, ships as large as cities were carved into the walls. In another, warriors stood with weapons unlike anything known today. Always, the humans were shown standing tall, while the bronze-skinned aliens bowed before them. The crew began to feel the weight of history pressing down on them. Yoren whispered what they were all thinking. If this is true, then we were not the newcomers to the stars. We were the rulers once. And then we forgot. Myra placed her hand on the cold stone. Then this pyramid may tell us why. At last they came to a second sealed door. It was larger than the first, its surface covered in glowing red lines. In the center was a shallow circle, as if waiting for something to be placed there. "It is another lock," Myra said. She stepped forward and felt a pull in her chest, the same as when the first door had opened. Before she could act, a voice rose from behind. Kairu and two of the alien guides had followed them inside despite their fear. Their eyes were wide with terror as they looked at the glowing door. "You must not open it," Kairu warned. "That chamber is forbidden. It holds the Guardian. If you wake it, none of us will leave this place alive." The humans tensed. Guardian. The word carried weight. Was it a machine, a creature, or something worse? Myra met Kairu's gaze. "We came here to find the truth. If the Guardian stands in our way, then we will face it. This is our legacy, not yours." The chamber fell silent. The red glow pulsed slowly, waiting for her decision. Myra looked at her crew, saw the fear in their eyes, but also the spark of determination. With steady hands, she stepped forward and placed her palm upon the circle. The pyramid shuddered, the lines flared bright, and the second door began to open. The Guardian was waking. The massive second door slid open with a deep rumble that shook the floor. Dust fell from the high ceiling, though the air inside remained strangely clean. The glow from the lines across the stone brightened, filling the chamber with red light. Myra lowered her hand and stepped back, her breath short but steady. She had expected a chamber filled with treasure or perhaps an empty room. What waited inside was something else entirely. The hall beyond the door stretched long and wide, with walls so smooth they looked polished by glass. The glow from the stones moved like liquid, traveling along the carvings as if alive. The humans entered slowly, their lamps barely needed as the walls lit the way with shifting patterns of light. Yoren stared in wonder. It feels like the whole place is breathing. Darren nodded, uneasy. Or watching. Myra's eyes stayed fixed ahead. She could feel something stirring within the walls, not life exactly, but memory. Every step forward made the patterns shift. Scenes unfolded along the surfaces, carved figures that moved like shadows trapped in stone. At first the images showed stars, endless skies filled with ships. Then came figures, humans, tall and proud, standing with banners raised high. Around them marched armies of bronze-skinned beings, heads bowed in obedience. The story unfolded in silence, yet it spoke loudly. Myra slowed her pace, her chest heavy. This is history. A history we lost. The crew gathered around a section where the carvings glowed brightest. It showed humans standing on a platform, speaking to thousands below. Around them, alien figures bent low, as if kneeling. Darren ran his hand over the wall, his voice low. This proves it. Humans ruled here. Not just here, but across the stars. Yoren shook his head, struggling with the idea. But how? We only left Earth a few hundred years ago. Where did this empire come from? Where did it go? No one had an answer. The walls shifted again, showing new scenes. Battles filled the stone, ships firing beams across the skies. Humans stood tall, but the bronze-skinned beings rose against them, no longer bowing but fighting. The carvings showed fire raining down, worlds burning, fleets torn apart. The crew stepped back, unease growing. The final image made Myra's stomach tighten. It showed a massive pyramid, glowing red, with humans carving its walls. Beside it stood a tall figure of shining metal, larger than any man, holding a weapon like a staff. Darren's voice cracked. That must be the Guardian Cairo spoke of. The alien guide stepped forward at last, his dark eyes fixed on the walls. His voice trembled as he spoke. Yes. The Guardian was created to protect this place. It does not know mercy. It will see you as masters, but it will see us as enemies. That is why we fear it. Myra studied him, then turned back to the glowing figure in the carvings. She felt no fear, only determination. If it was made for humans, then it will speak to us. And we will listen. The group pressed on, moving deeper into the hall. The further they went, the louder the hum of the pyramid became. The walls pulsed like veins, carrying red light in steady rhythm. It felt like walking inside a living heart. Finally they reached the end of the chamber. A wide doorway opened into a circular hall. The walls curved high above, every inch covered in glowing carvings. At the center stood a pedestal, and above it loomed a statue so tall it nearly touched the ceiling. The statue was of the Guardian. It was shaped like a man but taller, built of smooth red metal that gleamed in the light. Its eyes were dark, but its posture was strong, as if waiting to awaken. In one hand it held the same staff shown in the carvings. Its head was crowned with ridges of metal that gave it a regal air. The crew stopped at the edge of the chamber, breathless. The silence was heavy, as if the air itself was holding still. Myra stepped forward, her boots echoing softly. This is it, she whispered. The Guardian. Darren gripped her arm. Careful. What if it wakes? It was meant to wake, Myra said, pulling free. She walked slowly to the pedestal. On its surface lay a round plate, faintly glowing red, marked with human symbols. She recognized them at once. They were letters, not alien script. Yoren bent close, his eyes wide. It says. Only blood may prove the line. The words chilled the group. They remembered how the door had opened with Myra's blood. Now the pedestal seemed to demand more. Myra stood silent, her gaze locked on the glowing words. She thought of the carvings, the empire, the battles, and the fall. She thought of what it meant if humanity truly had ruled once before. The answers they sought lay beyond this moment. I will do it, she said firmly. The others protested, but she lifted her hand. With a sharp breath, she drew a blade across her palm, letting a drop of blood fall onto the plate. The chamber trembled. The walls lit brighter than ever, the carvings shifting and moving in waves. The statue's eyes burst into red light, glowing like suns. The pedestal pulsed, sending energy up through the floor and into the guardian itself. The giant figure stirred. Its head lifted, its arms moved, and the sound of metal grinding echoed through the hall. The crew backed away, their lamps swinging wildly. Kairu and the other guides cried out in terror, retreating toward the doorway. The guardian stepped down from its pedestal, its heavy feet striking the floor like thunder. Its glowing eyes scanned the humans first, pausing as if to study them. Then a deep voice filled the chamber, echoing from the guardian's chest. You carry the blood. You are of the makers. You are welcome. The humans froze, hearts pounding, as the giant bowed its head slightly in respect. Then it turned, its gaze sweeping toward Kairu and the alien guides. Its voice changed, hard and unyielding. You are not of the blood. You once rebelled. You are not welcome here. The guides trembled, fear plain in their wide eyes. They stepped back, whispering prayers in their own tongue. Myra lifted her chin, forcing herself to speak with courage. Guardian, we seek knowledge. We seek the truth of what happened here. The giant's eyes glowed brighter. For a moment it stood still, then it raised its staff and struck the floor. The walls blazed with light, the carvings shifting again to show new images. The story was not yet finished. The red light from the guardian filled the chamber, turning the smooth stone walls into rivers of glowing color. The hum of the pyramid vibrated through the floor and into the human's feet. Myra stepped forward cautiously, feeling a mixture of awe and fear. She had never seen anything so powerful, so alive, yet still unmoving in its purpose. The guardian's glowing eyes fixed on her. Its voice came again, deep and resonant, shaking the air. You are of the blood. You carry the line of the makers. Speak, human. Why have you come? Myra swallowed hard. Her voice was steady, even though her heart beat rapidly. We seek the truth. We seek to know who built this place and why. We want to understand our past. The guardian's staff struck the floor, sending a pulse of light through the hall. The walls shifted, and the carvings danced to life. Myra could see battles, cities, and fleets of ships moving as if alive. She recognized some of the shapes. They were humans, not like modern Earth humans, but taller, stronger, and wearing armor made of shining material. The guardian spoke again, each word slow and deliberate. Long ago, your kind ruled the stars. You built empires that reached planets and moons. You guided life, shaped worlds, and created guardians to protect your knowledge. This pyramid is one of many, a seed of your legacy. You are the first of your line to return. Yoren stepped forward, or written across his face. You mean, humans were always meant to rule the stars? Yes, the guardian said. Its glowing eyes moved over him. But your kind forgot. Your memory faded, and the empire fell. The pyramid waits for those who carry the blood to awaken it, To remember the path. You are that path. Darren frowned, stepping closer to Myra. If this is true, why did humans disappear from the galaxy? What caused it? The Guardian's staff struck the floor again. The light from its eyes brightened. Carvings on the walls shifted to show humans fighting each other. Some humans were creating machines and weapons, while others were rebelling. Cities burned. Worlds collapsed. Myra could see it all, the rise and the fall of a people who had reached the stars, and the greed, fear, and war that ended their reign. The line of humans was broken, the Guardian said. Not all perished, but many forgot. You are part of the forgotten. You are the memory reborn. Kairu and the other alien guides trembled at the sight. They whispered urgently to each other. This is not a place for living beings, one said. It holds power beyond understanding. We must leave before it turns on us. The Guardian's eyes shifted toward them. Its voice thundered, firm and commanding. You were once allies. You became enemies. You are not welcome. Turn back or be removed. The guides froze, fear spreading through their bodies. They began to retreat slowly, their eyes never leaving the Guardian. Myra noticed their hesitation and said calmly, Guardian, we are not your enemies. We have blood that connects us. The others have knowledge we need, but this place belongs to us first. The Guardian seemed to pause. Its glowing eyes studied Myra and the crew. Then it lowered its staff slightly. Very well. I will guide you. But the path is not simple. Only humans may pass through all chambers. Others will remain outside. The crew followed the Guardian as it moved slowly toward a massive door at the far end of the hall. Its steps shook the ground, yet the floor remained unbroken. Myra felt both pride and fear. To walk with the Guardian was an honor, but it was also a warning, their path would not be easy. As they moved, the walls continued to shift, showing more history. Myra saw humans exploring strange worlds, building cities in the clouds, and commanding fleets of ships that moved faster than anything they knew. There were guardians like the one before them, standing tall to protect knowledge, to wait for the humans who would return. What are they? Yoren asked, pointing at the smaller guardians carved in the walls. They were protectors, the Guardian explained. Built to remember. Built to awaken when the blood of humans returns. You have awakened me. Others will awaken as you move forward. Myra noticed a pattern forming in the carvings. Some humans were standing on platforms, holding objects that glowed. Others were speaking to beings who seemed frightened but respectful. She realized the humans in these images were teaching, guiding, and leading the galaxy in ways she could hardly imagine. Look at this, Darren said, pointing at a sequence of images. It shows humans sharing knowledge, building peace, and protecting life. Not just fighting for power. They were creators, teachers, guardians. Yes, the Guardian said. You are more than conquerors. You are the stewards of life, the protectors of knowledge. That is why you must remember. They reached the massive door at the end of the hall. It was taller than the chamber itself and covered with red symbols that glowed faintly. The Guardian moved its staff toward the surface. The symbols began to shift and open, revealing a second chamber beyond. This chamber contains what you need next, the Guardian said. It holds the maps, the history of your line, and the tools to reclaim your legacy. But be warned. Only those of the blood may pass. Others will not survive. Myra looked at the Guardian, her mind racing. This was more than discovery. It was a test. She felt the weight of history on her shoulders, the responsibility of a forgotten empire waiting for her to take her place. The Guardian raised its staff, and a beam of light touched the glowing doorway. The symbols moved aside, and the second chamber opened with a deep hum that echoed through the pyramid. Dust swirled in the red light, making the air feel alive. This is it, Myra whispered. This is what we came for. The guardian's voice filled the chamber one last time before they entered. Remember who you are. Remember the blood you carry. You are the future of your kind. The crew followed Myra through the doorway, the red light bathing their faces. Beyond the threshold lay the chamber of knowledge, the next step in a journey that would change their understanding of humanity forever. For the first time, they felt the true power of the blood-red pyramid, and the path ahead was both frightening and thrilling. The guardian walked beside them, a silent reminder of the greatness their ancestors had achieved, and the legacy they were destined to reclaim. The chamber beyond the massive doorway was vast, circular, and filled with light. The walls glowed with red symbols that moved like liquid, and strange patterns floated in the air as if painted by invisible hands. Myra led the way, her heart racing with excitement and awe. This was more than a discovery. It was a revelation. The guardian moved silently beside them, its eyes glowing steadily. Its presence was both comforting and intimidating. Myra felt the weight of its knowledge pressing upon her, yet it did not speak. It waited. This place, it feels alive, Yoren whispered, his voice soft. Like it knows us. It does, the guardian said suddenly, its voice low and resonant. This pyramid was built to remember. Every wall, every stone, carries the memory of your ancestors. Only humans of the blood may awaken it fully. You are chosen. Darren stepped closer to the center of the chamber. A pedestal rose from the floor, glowing faintly red. On its surface lay a small crystal, pulsing with light in time with the hum of the pyramid. Myra approached it cautiously. What is this? She asked, reaching out. It is a key, the guardian said. A key to the truth of your kind. Place your blood upon it, and it will reveal what has been hidden for centuries. Myra nodded and pricked her finger. A drop of blood fell onto the crystal. The light flared brightly, filling the chamber with warmth. The walls shifted, and images appeared. They were more vivid than the carvings before, like holograms made of pure light. The images showed humans across distant planets. Some were building massive cities in the clouds, others were exploring barren worlds and shaping landscapes with technology beyond imagination. Humans walked among stars, trading with alien species, teaching and protecting life, not just conquering it. They were everywhere, Yoren whispered. Every planet has humans on it. How did we forget this? The memory was lost, the guardian said. War, betrayal, and time erased the knowledge. Your ancestors who remained on Earth forgot the stars. The pyramid kept the record, waiting for the return of the bloodline. Myra studied the images carefully. These humans, they look strong. Not like us now, but still human. They had technology, knowledge, and wisdom. And they created guardians. Yes, the guardian said. The guardians protected knowledge and power. They were built to awaken when humans returned. Some waited for thousands of years. Others were destroyed when humans fell from the stars. Only a few remain. This pyramid is one of the last. The images shifted again. Myra saw humans teaching alien civilizations, helping them grow, guiding them, and forming alliances. Then she saw wars, massive fleets clashing in space, planets burning, and cities collapsing. She gasped at the scale of the destruction. They destroyed themselves, Darren said quietly. Not the aliens. Humans did this to each other. Some did, the guardian confirmed. Not all humans were wise. Ambition and fear caused conflict. Many worlds were lost. Many guardians were destroyed. Only memory survived in structures like this. Myra turned to the team. This means the galaxy still remembers us. Not fully, but in these pyramids, these guardians, these records. We are not just explorers. We are the continuation of an empire that once stretched across the stars. The guardian lifted its staff, and the light from the pedestal projected a map into the air. Stars and planets shimmered in 3 dimensions. Lines connected the planets, showing routes of fleets and trade networks that humans had once controlled. These are the lost worlds, the Guardian said. Some remain untouched. Some are ruled by others. Many await humans to return and reclaim their legacy. Yoren's eyes widened. So all this time, humans were not just on Earth. We were spread across the galaxy, but we forgot. And now we can find them again. Yes, the Guardian said. You carry the memory. You carry the blood. The path is open. But you must be cautious. Not all who remain are friends. Some fear humanity. Some oppose it. You must prepare for challenges, for trials, and for discoveries that will test your strength. Myra studied the map. The stars glowed brighter in some areas, dimmer in others. We can start with the nearest systems, she said. We can follow the routes, explore, and find out what remains. The galaxy may remember us, but we have to awaken it fully. The images shifted again, showing guardians standing on distant planets, waiting. They were statues, like the one in this pyramid, glowing faintly, watching for humans to return. Some had fallen, broken, or buried, but a few remained, alive in energy and ready to awaken. This is incredible, Darren said. It is more than maps and history. It is a call. A call to restore humanity's place in the stars. The Guardian spoke one last time before the humans moved forward. Remember, children of the blood, you are the continuation of your kind. You are the keepers of knowledge and life. The path ahead will be dangerous, but it is your right and duty to reclaim what was lost. The pyramid will guide you, but your courage will define your success. Myra nodded solemnly. We understand. We will follow this path. We will remember our ancestors and restore what they built. The chamber dimmed slightly, the walls calming from their bright glow to a steady pulse. The pedestal's crystal remained lit, a beacon of guidance and knowledge. Myra could feel the weight of responsibility pressing upon her, but it did not frighten her. She felt hope, determination, and a sense of destiny. Yoren stepped closer to her. Do you realize what this means? We are the first humans to carry this knowledge in thousands of years. The galaxy could be waiting for us to return. Yes, Myra said quietly. And we cannot fail. The pyramid has shown us the past, and now it points to the future. Every step we take will be important. Every decision will matter. Darren looked around the chamber, his expression thoughtful. We have to be careful. Others may know or sense what is happening. If humans once ruled, there will be beings who fear us, who want to stop us. The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter at his words. You are correct. The path is not simple. Allies and enemies are everywhere. But the blood of the Makers carries strength, wisdom, and courage. You will face dangers, but your lineage is powerful. Trust yourselves and the pyramid, and you will succeed. Myra took a deep breath and looked at the glowing maps, the floating images, and the Guardian beside her. The hidden truth of humanity had been revealed. The empire that once spanned the stars was no longer lost. It waited for them to reclaim it. The journey ahead would be long, filled with trials, discoveries, and challenges. But Myra knew one thing for certain: humans were meant for greatness, and the blood-red pyramid had chosen them to remember and restore what had been lost. The chamber was quiet, filled only with the soft hum of the pyramid and the faint glow of the crystal on the pedestal. Myra stepped closer, her fingers brushing the surface. The maps of lost human worlds floated in the air before her, stars connected by glowing lines that traced forgotten trade routes and fleets. This was the key to everything: the legacy of humanity and the path to reclaim it. The Guardian's red eyes studied her carefully. Its deep voice broke the silence. To proceed further, the blood must prove the line, it said. Only those of the Makers may unlock the final truth. Myra understood immediately. The pyramid demanded a sign, proof that they carried the blood of the ancient humans. She had already used her blood to awaken the guardian, but now the test was more serious. This would reveal the maps fully and show the location of all remaining human strongholds across the galaxy. Darren glanced nervously at her. "Myra, are you sure we should do this?" The first time almost triggered something we didn't expect. Myra nodded firmly. "We have no choice. This is the only way to uncover the full history. If we hesitate, the knowledge may remain hidden forever." The guardian raised its staff, and the crystal on the pedestal pulsed brighter. Red light flowed up through the floor, reaching Myra's feet. She knelt and extended her hand, holding her palm over the surface. A small cut appeared on her skin, and a drop of blood fell onto the crystal. The red liquid glowed instantly and was absorbed into the stone, vanishing without a trace. The pyramid shivered. The hum grew louder, vibrating through the chamber and shaking the walls. The floating maps brightened, stars connecting with bright lines, showing routes and planets Myra had never seen. She gasped. "The full map," Yoren whispered. "We can see all the worlds humans once controlled." "Yes," the Guardian said. "The blood has proved the line. You carry the memory of the Makers. The pyramid now reveals all." Images rose from the pedestal, showing humans settling planets in distant systems. Cities floated above oceans and deserts. Towers of shining metal and crystal reached into the skies. Humans traded knowledge, shared technology, and built fleets that moved between the stars faster than light. Every image showed humans as leaders, protectors, and explorers. Myra studied the images carefully. "This is incredible. These are all the worlds we can visit. Some may still have humans, or at least records of what they built. We could learn so much." Darren's voice was serious. "And some of these worlds may be dangerous. Not everyone will welcome us. If humans once ruled, there will be civilizations that fear us or see us as a threat." The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. "True. Many remain loyal to old fears. Some will resist your return. But those who follow your kind may aid you. Trust the maps, and trust yourselves. The blood has proven your right to knowledge and leadership." Myra felt a mix of awe and responsibility. The pyramid has chosen us to continue what was lost. We are not just explorers. We are the first step in restoring humanity's place among the stars. The images shifted again, showing hidden vaults, libraries, and research centers scattered across the galaxy. Some were buried beneath planets, others hidden on asteroids or floating in orbit. The knowledge of humans had been protected carefully, waiting for descendants to return. "Every vault, every stronghold, contains information we need," Myra said. "The maps will guide us, but we have to travel carefully. We don't know what obstacles await." Yoren stepped closer to the glowing maps, tracing a path with his finger. "Look here. Some of these worlds are close together. Others are far apart. The distances are massive, but the routes are marked. The pyramid shows the fastest paths and safe corridors." The Guardian nodded. "These routes are reliable. They were used by your ancestors to travel across the stars quickly. Follow them wisely, and you will reach the lost worlds. The information and guardians you find there will help restore your legacy." Myra's mind raced. The scope of the discovery was enormous. Humans had once ruled vast regions of the galaxy, and now they had a path to reclaim that knowledge. But the task was also dangerous. If any enemies detected their return, the humans could face conflicts on multiple worlds. She turned to the crew. "We have the maps. We have the Guardian's guidance. We know the path now. But we need to prepare. Every planet may be different, and every world may have challenges. We cannot underestimate what we are about to face." Darren nodded. "We should gather supplies, study the technology here, and plan our first journey. The pyramid can guide us, but we will need strategy to survive. Myra agreed. This is more than a mission. It is the future of humanity. We are carrying the blood of the makers, and the galaxy is waiting for us to restore what was lost. The Guardian moved to the pedestal, its staff tapping the floor lightly. The red light from the crystal flowed into the maps, stabilizing them. The routes became clearer, showing safe paths, potential hazards, and points of interest. Myra could see entire sectors of space marked with the legacy of her ancestors. The maps are now yours to follow, the Guardian said. The test is complete. You have proven the bloodline. You are worthy of the knowledge, and the galaxy will open to you. But remember, the blood of the makers is not only proof. It carries responsibility. You must use it wisely. Myra placed her hand over the glowing surface one last time, feeling the warmth and energy. She understood the weight of the words. The blood they carried was proof of lineage, but it also carried duty. They were not just discovering the past, they were preparing to shape the future. The chamber quieted. The red glow softened to a steady pulse, and the floating maps remained, waiting for the humans to choose their path. Myra stepped back, looking at her crew. This is the moment, she said. We know where to go. We know what we need to find. The pyramid has trusted us with the legacy of humanity. Now it is our turn to act. Yoren looked at the maps with determination. We will follow the routes, discover the hidden worlds, and reclaim the knowledge. The galaxy will remember us. Darren placed a hand on Myra's shoulder. And we will do it together. No one gets left behind. The blood of the makers carries more than power. It carries unity, courage, and hope. Myra smiled. Then let us begin. The pyramid has given us the truth. The next step is to take that truth into the stars. The Guardian's eyes glowed brightly one final time. Its deep voice echoed through the chamber. Go, children of the blood. Follow the maps. Restore the legacy. The galaxy waits, and your journey has only just begun. With that, the crew turned toward the exit of the chamber. The floating maps guided their way as they prepared to leave the pyramid, carrying knowledge, courage, and the first spark of humanity's return. The blood-red pyramid had given them the ultimate gift, the path to the stars, and the power to reclaim the forgotten legacy of their ancestors. The chamber's red light faded as Myra and her team stepped back toward the entrance. The floating maps lingered in the air, glowing faintly, showing all the paths they would follow. The hum of the pyramid was softer now, almost as if it were satisfied. The Guardian stood still, watching them, its eyes glowing like twin suns. Myra turned to her crew. We have the knowledge. We have the maps. The pyramid has shown us the way. Now it is time to return and begin. Yoren nodded, his eyes wide with excitement. I can't believe this is real. The worlds, the technology, the Guardians, it is all waiting for us. Darren glanced at the alien guides outside, who had hesitated at the pyramid's edge. Cairo's bronze skin reflected the last light of the twin suns. His eyes were filled with awe and fear, but also respect. The humans had awakened something ancient, something powerful. You have proven yourselves, Cairo said quietly. The pyramid recognizes you. It recognizes your kind. I cannot stop you. But be careful. Others may see you as a threat. Myra nodded. We understand. We will be careful, but we cannot turn back. Humanity has a legacy to reclaim, and we are the first step. The team moved across the desert, leaving the pyramid behind. Its red stone glowed faintly in the sunset, like a heart beating quietly beneath the sands. Myra looked back once. She felt a strange connection to the ancient builders, to the humans who had ruled the stars long ago. It was a legacy of greatness, courage, and wisdom, waiting for someone to carry it forward. Once the group reached their ship, they paused to prepare. Supplies were checked, lamps adjusted, and instruments calibrated. Every member felt the weight of responsibility, but also excitement. They were not just explorers anymore. They were the first of a reborn human lineage, chosen to reclaim what had been lost. The ship's engines roared to life, lifting them into the twin suns' fading light. Myra guided the craft carefully over the desert, keeping the blood-red pyramid in view until it became a small red glimmer in the distance. The pyramid had given them the key, and now they were moving forward, carrying humanity's legacy into the galaxy. As they reached orbit, the maps from the pyramid appeared on the ship's screens. Every lost world was marked, every guardian indicated, and the fastest paths between planets shown. Myra felt a thrill of determination. The journey ahead would be long, filled with challenges, but the way forward was clear. "We follow these maps," Myra said. "Each world will have its own story. Some may have humans who survived. Some may have guardians waiting. Some may have dangers we cannot yet imagine. But we move forward together." Yoren smiled, leaning over a console. "It feels like the galaxy is waking up. It is as if it remembers us, even if we forgot ourselves." "Exactly," Myra said. "And we are here to help it remember fully. To restore what our ancestors created and protect it from what destroyed it before." The first system on their route appeared on the screen. A planet, green and blue, orbited a bright star. Myra felt a surge of hope. This was just the beginning. The blood-red pyramid had shown them the past, but the future was theirs to build. Darren placed a hand on Myra's shoulder. "We have to be ready. If humans once ruled the stars, there will be those who fear us, and perhaps those who oppose us. But we have the maps, and we have the blood. That is strength enough." Myra nodded. "We are not alone. The pyramid has guardians. The galaxy has memory. And we have each other. Together, we will face whatever comes." As they approached the first planet, the ship's sensors detected signals. Strange energy fields, faint structures, and remnants of technology long forgotten. Myra's eyes lit up. This was the first step. The hidden world, protected for centuries, awaited their arrival. The ship descended slowly, following the pyramid's guidance. Forests and rivers stretched below, untouched by modern civilizations. The atmosphere was clear, filled with the smell of wild vegetation carried through the air sensors. The crew felt a sense of reverence. This was a place preserved, a piece of humanity's past waiting to be rediscovered. The landing was smooth. As the ship touched down, the crew stepped out onto the surface. The air was fresh and alive, and the planet seemed to hum faintly, a silent welcome to the humans who had returned. Myra felt it in her chest. The galaxy remembered them. The pyramids, the guardians, and the hidden worlds had waited for this moment, and now the first human explorers were here to reclaim it. "This is it," Myra said softly. "The first of many worlds. The journey has begun." Yoren looked around in wonder. "It is beautiful. It feels like a place made for us to remember who we are." "Yes," Myra agreed. "And it is only the start. The pyramid gave us maps, knowledge, and guidance. Each world will teach us more. Each guardian will help us restore what was lost. Humanity's legacy is rising again." As the sun rose over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, the crew prepared to explore the planet. Every step they took was history in motion. Every discovery would bring them closer to understanding their ancestors and restoring the human presence across the stars. The blood-red pyramid had opened the path. The humans were no longer just wanderers in the galaxy. They were a legacy reborn, chosen to reclaim the knowledge, protect the guardians, and remember the greatness that once belonged to them. Myra looked at her crew, at the green world before them, and at the star maps guiding the way. A new era had begun. The journey would be long, filled with danger, wonder, and discovery, but humanity was ready. The pyramids, the guardians, and the lost worlds were waiting, and the humans were finally awake to their destiny. The galaxy would remember them. And humanity would rise again.